So what we're going to do today is the difference between a mix that a professional mixing and mastering engineer is going to do and what a producer can achieve. What we'll do is I'll mix here in this room, I'll mix in Atmos, I'll fold down to stereo, and then go into master it in analog. I'm then going to take this mix and this master to my friend's studio, Danny's. What he's then going to do is use the exact same stems. He's going to mix the track. He's going to mix that in the box. He's going to mix the track. He's going to then master it. What we're then going to do is we're going to compare the mix that I did versus the mix that he did. We're then going to compare the master that I did compared to the mix that he did. Then what he's going to do is he's going to use my mix and my master as a reference point to then create that exact same mix. He's going to try and create that mix on his end using my mix as a reference. Now, what that should achieve is that when you have a reference point to something that sounds great, it's very, very much an easier process for anybody to achieve a great sounding mix. Now you might ask, well, why don't we just use reference tracks of other people's songs? Because that's not what's best for your song. That's the key thing here. So what we'll do is we'll head over to Danny's. We'll give him the stems. He can then mix this track. We'll mix the track here. We'll both assess our mixes, and then we'll see exactly how much difference there is between a professional mix engineer and mastering engineer here in this studio versus a producer's DIY mix and master.
Right, Paul, moment of truth. Shall I play the mix first?
So compare the two mixes.
Yeah.
So my mix versus your mix.
Okay, so I'll just take a random part. I don't know, what do you reckon?
Yeah, take the end.
Okay, all right, here we go. So this is mine, and then I'm going to click on your one and back. Yeah, so my one, to me, sounds far too resonant compared to your one. Yours is
very
a lot
washy
cleaner
as well.
It's very washy, and I feel like on all that I've just put way too much sort of upper mid on everything. Yeah, definitely. I don't really like my one. I would have liked my one till I heard your one.
That's always the case.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is crisper. It's yeah, cleaner, and I've got too much mid.
Let's have a look at another section.
Okay.
Comparing the two mixes.
Go to the quiet
let's
section.
do that.
I can't even hear the synth on my one at all, to be honest.
You hear
when
how
it goes
controlled, yeah, you hear how controlled that mix is.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, then this bit as well. Dun-dun-dun-dun, whatever those synths are, I can't even hear it on mine. Look. I literally can't hear it. Yeah, like, so if I'd listened to your one as a reference, I would have backed off all that. I've boosted so much mid. It's just, yeah, it's very wishy-washy compared to, like, your one's way cleaner.
What do you put that down to, though? Like, what is that? What are you putting that down to? Is it the difference of knowledge, or what? I know what I'd put it down to.
A lot of it is knowledge. A lot of it is Atmos, that you've separated everything in its own space, so which automatically makes it clearer. I think I've done too much in terms of boosting EQ. It sounds to me like you've done more low cuts, more cuts rather than boosts. To me, but you've done it in the box. I know you've done it in the box, so technically, but you've used a lot different plugins than I've used. I've literally used two plugins. I've used the channel strip, the 4KB SSL, and I've used a bit of Soothe, and that's it. I've not even sent stuff to.
Thing is, though, that is your choice. That is your mixing method.
Yeah.
What I would put that down to.
Yeah.
Is room and listening environment.
Yeah, for sure.
The fact that, because this is the difference of you're listening to that and you're making those EQ adjustments adding too much brightness. But at the time, you thought that was plenty enough brightness. And that's only down to the fact of things like my room having a Trinnov fitted, knowing that audio is perfect.
Yeah.
That's why I was making the right adjustments, whereas you maybe weren't. So little things like that do play a big part in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Should we check the
master?
master?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be even worse because I remember when I mastered it, I was adding even more mid on the Pro Q3. So I'm dreading this, but we'll do the end again.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just make sure. Right, so that's my master. That is your master down there, the third one. Okay. Oh my God, like the difference now is even more night and day. If that was night and day, this is like another planet. I mean, your one's crisper, like crazy crisp, at around 20k or whatever that is.
That's the Vertigo VSE2
really?
with the airband. The EQ on the airband is really, really good. Obviously, bearing in mind here as well is you're doing digital mastering, whereas I'm doing analog mastering through some exceptional gear.
Yeah.
So that has played a part in it.
Yeah.
Play another little section, see what.
It's a bit embarrassing. But, God.
Yeah, but then bear in mind the state of the art kind of room that I'm in. Not that your room's not great. This is a great room with great speakers, but just bear that in mind because it does play a major part in it.
Yeah, 100%. So even I would have probably mixed it differently in your room because it would have been more accurate.
Exactly, you would. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this bit. So I can hear there's way more clarity and control on the bass. Your drums, you've made them so crisp, and you haven't boosted the mids to my ears. You've just made them way crisper, and just the clarity is like night and day.
I find your master to be quite dull in comparison.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like, look, here's the situation. Those two songs. If you were listening to one and then listening to the other, which one are you going to buy?
Yeah, your one.
Exactly. That's how important this process is.
It is. It really is. I can really hear. Snare and everything.
Listen to that snare and clap in that section there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So my one. Yeah, it's yeah. That sounds like a amateur in comparison to your one. Well, and I would have been happy.
That is kind of. Yeah. I mean, you're comparing. The difference is you're comparing someone who does mixing of their productions compared to someone that does mixing of song after song after song after song.
Yeah.
I mean, when you consider, I've probably got about 38,000 mixes on top of yours, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That comes with a wealth of experience.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, the gap is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I thought maybe I'd be a little bit close because I do mix and master my own stuff and other people's as well. But
it's not like you ain't been successful with.
No. It just shows you. But the difference is
quite eye-opening.
It is, and ear-opening. Yeah. So let's get one more section, shall we? Like, here's a random section here. That's pretty similar, isn't it? Let's go. What I'd like to do now, and I could just do it whenever, is now go back to my mix in Logic, referencing your one v my one.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it now. Okay. All right.
So here we have Danny's master at the top, my master underneath, and what you've done basically is you have used my master as the reference to that, created your mix with the master in mind, created the master to try and get exactly the same. So now what you have is a reference point which has allowed you to achieve a similar result.
Yep. exactly. So moment of truth.
Let's find out.
All right. What are you saying? This bit.
Let's
maybe?
go with yours first,
Mine first.
and then switch it to my master.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Honest view. My honest view is it's a billion times better than it was. It is like ridiculous, like compared to how it was. But obviously that's because I cheated, because I had your reference. But still, even though I had your reference and you had no one's reference, because I know you don't reference to anything, to me, and I'm being honest, your low end sounds a lot more controlled.
It's a lot more controlled.
Mine's flabby.
It's got a lovely punch to it.
Yeah, it has. Mm-hmm. Mine's flabbier than my stomach, and that's pretty flabby. And also, and I must admit, and I'm going to put this down to the fact that you use Atmos and I don't. Yours is way wider, but not just wider. Yours is more separate, and even on the stereo speakers, it just goes to show I'm still hearing it in 3D. Your one, and I'm not hearing my one in 3D.
Yeah.
So the only thing I've improved compared to my last one is my EQing and my balance. Mm-hmm. That's just because I've heard your one, but still your low end's way more controlled, and still I've probably got a bit too much mid in mine. A little bit. It's not as bad.
Let's have a listen to this section here, because that's a bit more stripped back.
Okay, mine first?
Yeah, go with yours.
Unfortunately for me, it's still a million times better, your one. Even though I've had your one, yours is brighter and crisper. It sounds like you've got way more very, very top end. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
On certain parts. Let's go again. Let's go from here. My one. Yeah, still, your one is way more separated, way more immersive. If that's the
but
right
you
word.
have got a better result
Million
by
times.
having this as a reference. Now, here's the issue: is with the majority of people mixing, they don't have a reference.
No.
Knowing how to get to that end result is half of the issue that producers who do it themselves have.
Yeah.
For instance, if you was to get me to mix a track, give you the reference, you have then a better opportunity to get to the end result that you want.
Yeah.
And what's right. But obviously that's not the case with people who are doing it as a DIY, do-it-yourself mixing and then mastering. So this is where they're really kind of falling short, is the fact that sometimes you do need to pass it on to someone like myself who have the expertise and knowledge to know how it should sound.
And the thing is, absolutely, I could reference to a similar commercial track, but it's not the same track. It's never the same track. So
that's the difference. Is you can reference to any song that's out and released, and you can reference to that, but that song isn't the best for your song.
No.
That's the issue there.
Yeah.
What I've done is what's best for the song, and then you've copied that, and it's a lot easier to copy. It's almost like tracing. It's almost, if you think of it in a kind of a picture aspect, I've done the beautiful painting, finished it off, put it in a frame, and then you've put a piece of paper over it, traced around it, and then painted it in how you can paint it.
Yeah, exactly. So even though I've cheated, I feel a bit better, because at least I know I'm capable of getting it closer. But the funny thing is, even though I've traced it, it's still nowhere near as close. So I've bow down to you. Respect. No, really. I mean,
it's a great thing to do here, because it really gives you an insight. It gives the people watching an insight into the difference of a professional mix versus what is considered not a professional mix, an amateur mix. But that's not to say you're certainly no amateur when it comes to production and everything else. So yeah. That's a good place to end this.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.